All right, everybody, welcome. It's May the 4th be with you all. All right, not much to talk about. I just know that there's going to be quite a few speculative things about these couple of subjects that I'm about to bring up. First, my heart goes out, major condolences goes out to the 20 people that died in Mexico City on a collapsed train. 20 people dead, and some of them were kids. Here's the thing that I'm bringing up about it. The train was only about 9 years old. You know, Mexico has got train systems, 50 years old, 100, about almost 100 years old, but you've got, as far back as the early 1900s, before World War One, there was quite a bit industry of the trains in Mexico. I mean, even Rebel Pancho Villa, had his own train and used the train system. So you've got all these old train routes, and then this one hasn't even made a full decade's time yet, and it collapsed. It collapses, and it's responsible for 20 deaths. So there's a lot of speculation that's going to be popping up, a couple of theories and everything. Don't know really where it's going to go, but it has just sort of left you with the WTF kind of mode. The next item is, hopefully everybody recovers from Mexico, with their grievances and everything, with their grief quick, and if this was some kind of malpractice, that justice will be served to the victims' families. Okay, now I'm going to get off of that. Sorry. The other item is India. India has reached 200 million plus on the COVID cases. What's intense about this is, some of the news people that have been recording the trauma that's been happening there of while people are dying. You had people convulsing to the point of dying. You had people that can't breathe, their lungs are failing to the point of dying. And it's leading to a very, very horrible impact. Technically, that's what we went through. And it's a shame that we have to look at things from an entirely different country in order to understand that this is what we here in the States are going through. Because, very little captioning was provided for here in the U.S. So you still have people to this day that are still thinking, well, it was fake. It was fake. You had people harassing the nurses, which was pretty stupid. Somebody recorded himself on his own video. Why is your lobby empty? Where are all the COVID people? Why is your lobby empty? And the only thing that they could do is just simply tell them the truth. Well, we've got them quarantined. You don't put COVID patients in the lobby. You have to quarantine them. So, he wound up looking like a big jackass. He posted it thinking that he told them off. And it turns out he was just this numbnuts that just couldn't, numbnuts upstairs that couldn't, use his brains. And thankfully, we haven't had to go as far as funeral pyres where we're stacking large pieces of wood and then laying the bodies on top and cremating them. India's gone as far as doing that in these in a few open parking lots, and it's pretty intense. You only had 2.3% of their population vaccinated, and the rest are still waiting for the vaccines to come. as somebody like myself that's stressed out of that throughout previous videos, I mean, I share their grief and I share their anxiety. I feel their pain. I know what they're going through. I'm hoping that we can all come to helping them out real quick. 200 million. I remember when that was a big case down here on our side of the world. So thoughts and prayers go to them, and I'm hoping that other people out there that see this can understand and agree that this is this is something that eventually we're gonna have to take care of. We're not take care of, but definitely do a good part. Do our part, because it's going to be a good impact, positive impact as a result. Now, the final thing that I want to mention is Joe Biden has increased numbers in the refugee camps to 62,000 plus asylum seekers, which is good because there's still minors that are coming over. They're not coming in families; they're coming as minors, and that's it. And that's a very serious issue that we've got going on. What I'd like to see, that's not a complaint. What I'd like to see, now that we've pointed that out, what's going on, is the Biden actually moving up families, whole families together, and processing their backgrounds and all this stuff. Because right now we're just taking in the kids and that's it, and it's obviously taking forever to get straightened out, or not straightened out, but it's taking forever to get the people that are supposed to be sponsoring them cleared. It's bad enough that we've got them here in the States and they got to go through the process all over again to show America that that they're legitimately okay to clear and take into their houses. It would be nice to finally start seeing actual families being taken in instead of just the kids, because so far 400 out of 40,000 kids, that's a fraction of 40 or 30,000. I can't really remember. I think it was less than 40. I think it was in the 30s. They're the ones that are getting accepted and brought into the States, while the rest are still hanging in limbo in these holding facilities that that many experts are correct in saying it was supposed to be temporary. So we've also got a few ups and downs through it, as mentioned before, and the one that I titled U.S. is trafficking the kids. Okay, obviously that was an exaggeration, but it went to that one company that got one kid cleared and then tried to sneak off a total of 100 kids more, just to any adult. And it was obviously just to put up this great image that look at this company, we're getting things done, which technically they were doing it at a very dangerous level, because the majority of those people that were sponsors that were trying to get these kids were part of the trafficking. They were a part of what they were doing was taking the kids and then using them for whatever intention, or whatever method, I should say, whatever method that they deemed reasonable to pay, the debt that was owed to them by their parents, by the kids' parents, south of the border. There were deals made. The kids got in. this company, SWK Estrella, got one legitimate sponsor and then just started handing out kids to sponsors that turns out were the receiving end of that deal. You know? And so it's a kink that we got to work out. It's a problem that we've got that currently the current administration in today's society has to fix. You know? There's a couple of other things that I thrown out there as proof of what was going on, as well as the bull crap that ICE was doing, releasing felons that they had on record, that they knew who they were. You know, they saw through their BS. 2 of them were actual sex offenders, and then they go releasing them. You know, they're, as far as I'm concerned, they're a part of the troublemaking haters, people of hate that just wants this all shut down and back to nothing but a stupid wall, which honestly, it's a huge sign of corruption, as I've stated through one of the earlier videos. Also, when I'm going to recap it again, you don't have to go back and scroll through them all. I'll tell you right here now. Honestly, I think that BS wall that they were building that collapsed a year later, only 80 miles worth, that was done during the Trump administration. Honestly, I think it's a part of the human smuggling and human trafficking. It's big business, remember. It's in the billions. Somebody's profiting off of that. And everybody that's getting involved is getting a share. You know, even if it looks like some kind of fluke or, you know, some kind of problem on paper. Honestly, I think SKW Estrella is a part of that human smuggling ring. I think SOS1 is part of that human smuggling ring. I even believe that NACC, the National Association of Christian Churches, are a part of that smuggling ring. They had to be taken out. They had to be removed. And the kids that they were in charge of had to be come back to the border towns at Carrizo Springs. They were taken out of Houston. Houston is a metropolis. They could have had any and every resource to make it a substantial holding cell, instead of this giant warehouse where they're all, you know, thrown in sort of stupidly and restrictive. It was just dumb. I honestly believe that because no kids were missing out of that, all kids, all girls from 13 to 17 were pulled out. Everyone was accounted for. But NACC, the National Association of Christian Churches, you know, they banked. They hustled money out of this. They hustled $4 million for this project. You know, so they may not be directly selling kids, but they're certainly a part of the problem. They are certainly a part of the problem. And nobody's paying attention, especially the repugs, or I call them repugs, over on the right. The right wing and all them, they're all jumping on board with what Trump is still yapping about, you know, complaining and all this other stuff, even though he doesn't have a Twitter account anymore and blah, 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 blah. You know, he's going to press conferences and talking a bunch of smack, saying that it's a big mess and that they don't know what they're doing and Biden doesn't know what he's doing and everything's a waste of time and all this stuff. Honestly, I think he's a part of the human ring also. This was a man that is suspected to have gone to a hotel to have sex with 14-year-old prostitutes in the Ukraine. This man, along with his lawyer, that guy with the leaky thing, I already forgot his damn name, and other associates that were working in real estate businesses over there. You know, Trump was looked at for that. And to see him come over here, have a part of that 4,500 cases of sex offenses under his administration, him and Obama's administration, take place. 500 kids missing. Honestly, I think SKW Australia was one of those. Was how it was used. Traffic deals being settled through that organization off of our taxpaying dollars through their administrations. And these flukes and these problems and these oops and these embarrassing moments technically should be, investigated like gangbusters. I am so surprised, even though a lot of the critics, I know I just set myself up for the critics. I'm so surprised that the Biden admin and national security and NSA, I'm so surprised that none of them are trying to round up a posse, figuratively speaking. No different than the Hoover years, when they were trying to tackle everybody throughout the alcohol prohibition, trying to find all these organizations and bust them and crack down on them. The way, I'm actually surprised that nobody's trying to take advantage of that. You got a little guy like me that could connect these dots. A bunch of expert agencies can do it. They could connect the dots if they just went in and examined them. And let's say I'm wrong. Let's say that there is absolutely no connection to the smuggling ring and all this other stuff. That would be fine. That would still be a fantastic investment of our tax-paying dollars, just simply because it lets the criminals know you need to tread softly. You can't just waltz in here. We're gonna and that leads, don't get me wrong, it's scary, but it does lead to extreme attempts, just like in the past, which it kind of makes me wonder, where in the world did the IRS, weaken? The DEA, the ATF, the immigration, INS. At what point in time did they weaken that they can't see this? Because this stuff is nothing new. The smuggling and the people, and I'm referring to the wacky attempts of people trying to get in, and the increased attempts. There was a vehicle that had to slow down. It was speeding in a high-speed chase. It was recorded in a high-speed chase where it had to slow down long enough to for all of their illegal passengers to jump out of the moving vehicle and try to make a break for it to live their new lives here. The Border Patrol, the Texas State Troopers, and other law enforcement are just kicking ass. They are just kicking ass, dude. They're on top of shit. They're rock and roll, sharp, quick. They're not letting any of these jack-offs, jerks, just waltz on through. They have to speed through like a bullet train. They had a boat over in the San Diego area, it capsized, and you feel sorry for them because most of them were migrants, not so much the smugglers. We caught one smuggler, maybe two, and to think that this is all in shambles, like the way the repugs and the Trump followers, the MAGA hatters, they're claiming that look at all this devastation, look at all this crap. A boat capsized, 2,900 in 1 week had gotten apprehended. Oh my God, it's an invasion. Well, no, not really, not really. If they're getting caught, they're getting apprehended. They're having to get arrested after getting rescued from a capsized boat. Then no, it's not a hopeless invasion. It's not an overwhelming invasion. It's not a crisis. It's our law enforcement kicking ass. So, Trump's mad. Honestly, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? The guy did nothing but complain and bitch and complain some more and cried and bleh and barf and all this other crap and didn't do a damn thing. Much less did he support Border Patrol. Much less did he support Texas State Troopers. Much less did he support any law enforcement. Much less did he support Californians, the California troopers, Arizonans, New Mexico. He didn't support any of them. He left them all on their own to cage kids. That's what he did. He said, just cage those little kids. Just cage those people. Just lock them up in asylum. There was one winter where refugees in families were cramped underneath a bridge to keep rain later turned into sleet, which means the temperature dropped considerably. You know, while they froze, they were literally in a caged fence underneath a highway bridge. And that's all that our president. That's all that President Trump had the state troopers do, or Border Patrol do. Just set up cages. It was stupid. It was weak. And it certainly didn't stop the illegals from crossing over. None of them were stopped. Only the families that were defenseless and didn't know how to climb and didn't coordinate their stuff. Only the ones with just the shirts on their backs were the ones that were stuck on the other side. And they were being picked off by, guess who? The cartel, an organization of the trade, a human trafficking ring. The ones that get the people over there for the ones that are over here on our side that are trying to collect through, guess who? SWK Estrella, SOS 1. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it was but through the actual Border Patrol. Like I said, like the experts say, it's big business. It is big business. You'd be surprised. Well, shoot, I wouldn't be. I'm almost 5 decades old. But it really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody how that greed can creep up on somebody's mind and poison the mentality, regardless of how moral upholding job title gives them. Priests have taken bribes, So how in the world does a Border Patrol guy who drives around in a desert or alongside a river 10 to 12 hours a day, 4 days out of a week, he has to sit in a station or in a stationed at a location in an outpost, with only 3 days out of that week to go back home and visit his family, wherever city that would be. Then he has to go right back out there, and he's more than likely got to wonder if it's worth it. What would be worth it? What would be worth going all the way out there? You know what I'm saying? It talks, man. Plata talks, eh? So, right now, you got a lot of law enforcement complaining, hey, we're having to bust all these people. Oh, well. And you got Trump and MAGA hatters and repugs and conservatives. Yeah, I call them conservatives. Saying, this is a crisis. This is this. And I'm going to complain some more. And I'm going to bitch about this. And I'm going to bitch about that. Who gives a shit what they say? We got busts coming out there. We got law enforcement when they're doing their jobs, kicking ass, taking names, collection of criminals. So, and amongst that, because there's still more children coming, Biden is increasing the cap size of refugees. So obviously there's got to be a few more encampments, The kids got to be taken to places that we know are more secure. I say bring them back to San Antonio. You know, that bullshit allegation that my own governor, Greg Abbott, stated has been proven bullshit, proven to be total lie, a total BS statement, false accusation, and there really should be a law that says governors should be held accountable for their false claims, no differently than any other U.S. American. But that's for a later term. That's for a later talk. Yeah, I mean, bring them back to San Antonio. Bring them back to El Paso. You know, it's great. You know, forget Arizona. They attack children over there. You know, there's a video of it too. Them slamming a kid up a wall and grabbing them and shoving them and throwing them over to from one end of a doorway to another, the hallway or something like that. There's a bunch of BS going on with Arizona. I think they're the ones who should face the budget cuts. We should get all of the trimmings, especially now that we've gotten rid of all the all the BS like the NACC out of the ring, out of the circle. So I'm running out of time. Just wanted to point this crap out and remind you why you're taking this with a level head, because of all the things that we are seeing. For example, this stuff that I just pointed out. And, you know, just be cool and be patient. Things will pan out. As sure as things will pan out with this pandemic. We're almost there. I mean, we are getting closer and closer to herd immunity. The more and more people are complaining about it, the more and more everybody's reviewed, the more and more everybody's trying to cherry pick stuff about the pandemic to falsify it, which winds up getting debunked, which winds up becoming more and more the reason to get vaccinated. Stay safe out there. Love you guys. Y'all take it easy. And this is Chris with Chris's Comments, a site about common sense on common ground, no matter what the subject. Take care. We'll see you next time. May the 4th be with you. Happy Cinco de Mayo if I don't come out tomorrow to point anything else out. Y'all take it easy, okay? Have a good one. Chris, out.